we sing Jai Radha Madhava?
Yeah.
This is the symbols behind it. Thank you. Thanks. Is anyone here for the first time? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so thank you. Welcome, thank you for coming. So what we're going to do now, we're going to sing another song. It's called Jai Radha Madhava. It describes the activities of the spiritual world. It's in Sanskrit. So it's a really nice song. If you close your eyes, you can feel the spiritual world. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Bhagavad Gita as it is ki. Repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavad Gita as it is. This book is the ABCs of spiritual life, and it was from 5,000 years ago, written in the ancient language of Sanskrit. So we're going to read from the 5th chapter. It's called Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. We're reading text 29. So this verse is known as the peace formula. So everyone's wanting peace. And so this is it. So I will say the Sanskrit and the translation. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam savalokam maheshwaram suridam savabhutanam yantamam shantiricchati. A person in full consciousness of me. So here Krishna is speaking, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Purport. So there's an explanation by Srila Prabhupada you'll find in these books, and they give us a deeper understanding of these verses. The conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusory energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world, but they do not know the formula of peace, which is explained in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. The greatest peace formula is simply this: Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. Men should offer everything to the transcendental service of the Lord, because he is the proprietor of all planets and the demigods thereon. No one is greater than he. He is the greater than the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is described as Tam Ishwaram Paramam Maheshwaram. Under the spell of illusion, living entities are trying to be lords of all they survey, but actually they are dominated by the material energy of the Lord. The Lord is the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. Unless one understands these bare facts, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. This is the sense of Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna is the supreme predominator, and all living entities, including the great demigods, are his subordinates. One can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness. This 5th chapter is a practical explanation of Krishna consciousness, generally known as Karma Yoga. The question of mental speculation as how Karma Yoga can give liberation is answered herewith. To work in Krishna consciousness is to work with the complete knowledge of the Lord as the predominator. Such work is not different from transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga is the path leading to Bhakti Yoga. Krishna consciousness means to work in full knowledge of one's relationship with the Supreme Absolute, and the perfection of this consciousness is full knowledge of Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure soul is the eternal servant of God as his fragmental part and parcel. He comes into contact with Maya, illusion, due to the desire to lord it over Maya, and that is the cause of his many sufferings. As long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute work in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of matter, for it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in material world. The more one is advanced, the more one is free from the clutches of matter. The Lord is not partial toward anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above-mentioned passions, remains factually in the transcendental stage or Brahma Nirvana. The eightfold yoga mysticism is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. There is a gradual process of elevation in the practice of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhara, dhyana, and samadhi. But these only preface perfection by devotional service, which alone can award peace to the human being. This is the highest perfection of life. And the purple. It's good purple. Yeah. I'll just say some prayers so I can speak something very authoritative and inspiring. Omigyan timanandasya gyanarasa akya chakshumanitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha vanchakapa turubhascha kripa sindhu vyevacha patitanam pamebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha katachana smite yasmin duskurum sukurum bhavet Vistite vipyate Shri Chaitanya Nandanamitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasri Gauda Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Have you ever watched Miss Universe competition? Or Miss World? So usually they ask them questions. It's like, if you have 3 things to wish for, what would you wish for? And they say 2 things, and the last one's always world peace. Everyone's wanting peace, they talk about peace, but still there's fighting going on within friends, within husband and wife, within just strangers in the street. There's always some conflict. Every time there's a murder, the police, when they investigate, they always first suspect the family and friends. This is the nature of this world, due to envy and ignorance. There's different types of envy. I'll tell one story. So the first type of envy we can sort of relate to. So this story happens. One man, he wants to have the best house. He's very proud of his house. And he stumbles upon like a lamp, a genie in a lamp. He rubs it, the genie comes. I'll grant you wishes, you just ask. Oh wow, that's really good. I would like so many things. But whatever you get, your neighbor gets double. Oh, who cares? I'm getting wishes, let's do it. So he wishes for a giant house. Like say a double story. And he goes, yep, tatastu. So be it. He gets a double story house. And then the neighbor's 4 stories tall. He goes, oh gosh, burning with envy a bit. Doesn't matter. Okay, I want a Ferrari. He goes, alright, yeah, Ferrari, ping. The neighbor gets 2 Ferraris. It's like, oh. And he's just burning with envy. Why does neighbor get better than me? I know. So he starts to think of a really good wish. He rubs the lamp. Genie, yes, my master, what would you like? I want you to take one of my eyes. So that's one type of envy. To make sure if someone has something better, they look like they're achieving more, then we would want them to fail or cut them down in some way. Another type of envy, it's another story. So there's a lamb, and he's thirsty and he goes to drink at a river. So he starts to drink, but up the stream there's a wolf, and he sees his lamb drinking, and he's singing, "Hey, you little lamb, why are you drinking from my river? This is my water, you can't take this." No, it's okay, Mr. Wolf. I'm drinking downstream from you. I'm not even touching your water. It's coming down from you, so you don't have to worry. Oh, now you drink my water, now you're being smart, huh? For this, I would kill you, you know. You didn't do this just today, you did it last year too. He goes, no, Mr. Wolf, I wasn't even born then. That's it, I will eat you up right now. So that type of envy is like, you don't let someone exist. Just because, you know, they're just around, you know, they're disrupting your perfect world. And that is the nature of this material world. Why? Well, if we come back to the beginning of spiritual life, the basics of these teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the purpose of life is to be happy. Why do we go to school for 20 years and maybe do another 4 years for a university degree, or even another 7 years for a PhD, just so you get a piece of paper? No. You get a degree, so you can get a job. Why do you get a job? So you can get money. Not just so you keep the money and you show the euros to everyone, but you buy stuff to make you happy. Why would we travel? Why would we get into relationships? Why would we do anything? We don't do anything for distress. It's not like we come to the temple and we pray to Krishna. Oh, please give me more distress. No, it's always to relieve the stress. What happens? Distress comes anyway. Doesn't matter what happens, how hard you try for happiness. So something is wrong. You want happiness only, and distress comes anyway. So the first step of spiritual life is Atato Brahma Jigyasya. One should inquire about spirit, the self. Who am I? Why am I here? What happens to me after death? What is my purpose here? So who am I? If you don't know who you are, can you be happy? Absolutely not. So let's dive into this subject. I would like one volunteer. Yeah, you. Okay, give him a clap. I just think we stand here. Alright. What's your name?
Alan.
Alan. Okay. Good. Alan, thank you very much. So just face the audience for me. Okay. So all I want you to do, I just want you to point to your shoulder. Okay, very good. And now point to your ear. Yeah, you can let go. Yeah, just one at a time. Okay, now point to your head. Point to your beard. Ah, very nice. Okay, point to your chest. Point to your nose. Okay, now point to you.
Everywhere. Everything.
No, that's not you.
Okay.
That's like everything else. Yeah. Point to you.
Inside.
That's like your stomach.
Yeah.
Can you point to you?
As I said, everywhere, on everything.
Right.
Spirit.
If you're these people, I don't think so. No. With something different from the body. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
So, when we say my hand, you know, we say my eye, my ear, my head, we say my book, we are separate from these things. But where is the I? So in Bhagavad Gita it says, Deosmin yata dehe komanom yamanam jara tatata hantara prakrita dhirastacha yamuyati. That the embodied soul is continually going from from babyhood to childhood to youth to old age, and that death just passes into another body. One who is sober, who is not bewildered by this world, is not bewildered by such a change. He understands that he's a soul. We can see that even when we we have a picture of when we're a baby, and sometimes we show these pictures when we're a baby. You know, you may be standing upside down or something like that. You say, oh, that's me, I'm a baby there. You know, but where's that baby body now? It's completely gone. It doesn't exist anymore. And the scientists say every 7 years, every molecule in your body is completely replaced. So even within this lifetime, say if you're 21, you're already gone through, you're in your third body. So similarly at death, when the body doesn't work anymore, then the soul goes to the next body. Like that. So what is the soul? What actually is the soul like? So the soul is described as Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal. It lives forever, never dies. So we sort of feel that sometimes. We don't, no one wants to die really. It never really comes across in our mind. It's very unnatural for us. Even though, what's the death rate in Ireland? Any percentage? Anyone know? No? It's 100%. You heard this saying, as sure as death, right? As sure as death. So, one time, Saint the King was asked the question, what is the most amazing thing in this world? So he said, even though people see their friends, their family, they see people on TV, all passing away, all dying, they think them themselves will not die. Because it's so, that's who really, as the soul, we're eternal. Problem is, the body is temporary. It's just like a machine, a driver in a car. The soul is animating the body. But the soul is just like when you have old clothes and you give them up and then you put on new clothes. Similarly, the soul is giving up old bodies and putting on new bodies in the same way. Another aspect of the soul is chit, or consciousness. It's alive. It's not like matter. You know, if you were to kick something that's dead, that doesn't kick back. But if you kick someone who's conscious, he may kick you back. Consciousness is there. Another name for consciousness is that it's full of knowledge. We want to know everything. We want to know what's going on in Japan, even though it has nothing to do with us. We want to know about penguins in Antarctica. We want to know about outer space. We want to know what's happening on Saturn and Mars. You know, we spend billions of dollars to launch a rocket to the moon, and they just come back with a few rocks. There's many rocks here, I don't know where you went there. But that urge to know everything is there within the soul. But what is the material body? It's dead. It's full of ignorance. Whatever we can't even count how many numbers of hairs on our head. We don't know. When we eat something, we're not trying, okay, that nutrient goes there. Okay, reject that one. We're not thinking about it. It's just going on and without our knowledge. And the main thing is that we don't know what happens to us after death. No one knows. So then there's anxiety. There is no peace, there's no happiness. And the most important one, the one I like most about the soul, is Ananda. It's full of bliss. It wants ever-increasing happiness. Or in my language, it always wants to have a party. That's the soul. You know, even an old man feels like a young man, he wants to party, you know. Despite the body doesn't want to do it, but he feels young, he still feels ready to go. That's the soul. That's what we need to identify with. But the body, it's actually full of misery. No, you can do so many things with this body, look. So many things, nice things you can do with this body. It's so great. Okay, get your thumb. Say, it's such a nice thumb. wrap some silk around it. How much pleasure can you give this sun? Think about it. Okay, we got it in our mind. Okay, put your thumb down, get a hammer, bang! How much pain would come from that? The body is always susceptible more to pain than to pleasure. But the soul is full of happiness and receptive to pleasure. So we need to identify the soul, and this is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us first. To understand that we're not this material body. This body has so many labels. You may have a job. I'm an engineer. You can change your job. I'm Mauritian, but you live in Ireland for so long, you're pretty much Irish now. You can get Irish citizenship. Change your nationality completely. You're not Mauritian. You can even change your skin color. Michael Jackson did it. You can change your gender. So many labels on this body. I'm American. I'm a man, I'm a woman. I'm rich, I'm poor. These things are always subject to change. But what stays the same? What is witnessing the changes from being young to old, from being rich to poor, from being from one body to another? That is the soul. That's who we are. This is the first step of spiritual life. Okay, so we're a soul. Then what's God got to do? What's Krishna got to do with that? So it's explained in the Bhagavad Gita again that Maya Mama Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasasjani Indrani Prakriti Stani Karshiti, that the soul is a small part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, or God, many names for the Supreme: Allah, Jehovah, Buddha, Krishna, Brahma, Govinda, Onkulukulu. That's how they call God in Zulu language in South Africa. So many names for that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna means that he's all attractive. So that soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. So actually the soul is one in quality with God, but different in quantity. Just like you have an ocean of water. You get one drop from the ocean, that's like the spirit soul. Has some salt in there, it's a little small part. But the amount of water in that drop is uncomparable compared to the ocean. Similarly, just like the sunshine and the particles of sun rays, we are like a molecule of sunlight. But Krishna is like the sun, the source of everything. So we have that connection as a part of the whole. So what's advised is that one should practice yoga. So when we hear yoga, we think of deep breathing and asanas, warrior asana. And can you do this one? It's called the Garuda asana. Try. It's like, yeah, you say nearly got it. Yeah. Okay. So you gotta push your shoulder blades out as well, and let your shoulders down, and then the elbows go out, and you can feel a stretch in between your shoulder blades. So that's the Garuda one. Yeah. So we think of yoga like that, right? But yoga actually means to connect to the Supreme. That's the meaning of yoga. So there's different types of yoga that are explained in the Bhagavad Gita, starting from karma yoga to jnana. Karma yoga, karma means to work or activity. So doing activities that connect us to Krishna. For example, in this temple, we have a temple, so you could clean the temple. So that's like work or activity for Krishna. Sometimes we cannot be at the temple so much, but we want to help out. So we do our job, and then we give a donation to the temple so they can help uplift spirituality in Ireland. That's Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga, which means knowledge. So you gain knowledge about the difference between spirit and matter and the control of both. And you try and just detach by knowledge, by philosophical speculation of the difference between matter and spirit. And then eventually you come to the source of both matter and spirit, and then you connect. That's Jnana Yoga. Above that, then there's Ashtanga Yoga, the one we all know, doing pranayama, deep breathing, and asanas. That one actually is pretty much impossible for us, sorry to say. As is explained in Bhagavad Gita, one needs to practice complete celibacy. Complete celibacy, otherwise you cannot practice this type of yoga. One needs to go to a secluded place and a sacred place, so you can't do it in a city. It has to be in where there's no one, in the forest, in places like Haridwar, Rishikesh, in the Himalayas, in the mountains. There's still yogis that do that. In India, there's a big festival. Millions of people come. About 70 million people come. They set up like a temporary city made out of tents. And they have a big parade of all the like sages. They come through. And they even have like small boys that look like small boys, 7, 8 years old. But actually they're like 200, 300 years old. Because they have practiced this yoga thing. And how they come from the Himalayas all the way to the Kumbh Mela is that they travel in the Ganges. They've developed mystic powers where just by touching the Ganges, they can transport from there. Pretty far up. But very difficult. One needs to keep their legs straight and they have to look at the tip of the nose. Don't close your eyes completely because you can fall asleep. Have it half open, because if you have it too much open, then you start seeing things, get distracted. And you need to have like a deer skin to sit on to keep the snakes away. And yeah, the snakes come, so you have to keep them away. And it can't be too high or too low. And you need to be on kusha grass. You can't use any grass. It's kusha grass has to be used. And one needs to meditate within and find God or the Supreme Soul who's situated in our hearts. And that's the goal of Ashtanga Yoga. Very difficult, especially in this age. So what do we do for us? Then there's the next one. The highest rung of the yoga ladder is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotional service or love with devotion. Showing love and devotion to Krishna or Supreme Personality of God. This is what we mainly practice here. It's very easy, it's sublime, and one can totally perceive the self. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Padakshavāgamam Dhamyam Shishukam Kata Aviyam. Krishna says that this is the king of all knowledge. This is the secret of all secrets. This is the perfection of religion, the purest knowledge, because one can have direct perception of the self as a spiritual being by this practice. It's everlasting, you don't lose it, and it's joyfully performed. Such an amazing process. And especially when we have on the altar, we have in the middle, this is Lord Chaitanya. Krishna came 500 years ago in this form, and he has these 4 associates. So in this particular day and age, like I said, it's very hard to practice that Ashtanga Yoga, meditating in the Himalayas. So they've given the most simple but sublime process of self-realization, which is by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. By chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are offering a prayer saying, "My Lord, I've always been separated. I'm stuck in this world of envy and disgust. I want to connect back to you and go to the spiritual world and serve you and develop my relationship with you." That's what the meaning of this mantra is. And by doing that, we remove any material conception that we have. and then we start awakening the spiritual conception within the heart. It's very natural, and it's the source of happiness for the human being. I'll give one story just to see the power of this mantra and this bhakti yoga process. I said it a billion times because it's the only story I can remember. It's in New York City. So, like Prabhu said, he said that I travel. So the last 7 years I've been traveling, and mainly I don't speak on scripture usually. I'm just dancing and chanting. That's what I usually do. And I've been doing that every day around the world for the last 7 years. We've been to over 50 countries, and everyone likes it, and everyone can get into it. Doesn't matter what background they are from. One time we were in Kenya. We went to a place called Mombasa. And it's really cool. You take a train from Nairobi there, and you go through like a natural reserve, and you see all the like wild elephants and zebras and giraffes and stuff. So we came to Mombasa. So in Nairobi, most people are like Christian. They're interested in God, and they're quite nice. It's a city. This is a smaller town, and it's we didn't know that was predominantly Muslim. So usually the Muslim faith has a bad reputation of like, if anyone's different, then they're gonna get violent or something like that. But we felt like, well, we were put here for a reason. Let's just give it a go, you know. And it was Ramadan, and there's a mosque on every corner. And all right, let's see. We had some, and yeah, we just, you know, Allah is the same Krishna that we know. It's just a different name. So I'm sure that Allah will help us out. No problem. So we just started chanting and dancing through the streets there, and people appreciated it. They were like, "Thank you so much for coming and bringing this joy." Even like, it looked like imams, like the Muslim priests. They come and meet you and they go, "What you're doing here is very good. Please continue." We had many books like Bhagavad Gita and many books like. They didn't see that as like, "Oh, you're another thing separate from us." They said that, "Oh, you are glorifying the Lord, and we like this very much, and we would like to help you." So, you know, they take books, give donations, and lots of support and encouragement. And that's what I noticed, that you have two types of people. You have people who are just envious of this connection to the Supreme, and they want to identify with the body and their designation. And then you got people who are just sincere, who really want to be happy and connect to the Supreme. And then they appreciate something that's real. They can experience that. So the example in New York City was that we jumped on a train, and we played music when we chant the mantra, like here. And there was like kind of like an angry homeless drunkard guy there, and he starts yelling. He goes, "You Hare Krishnas, you guys better get off the next stop or someone's gonna get hurt." All right. We just kept going, we didn't care. And the carriage is full. And so we're singing this tune. It's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we kept singing, and this guy, he's getting more angry. He's like swearing at us, but in the tune. You ain't been Hare Krishna's gonna get off now, I'm gonna kill. So we kept going. And the singer, he's playing accordion, and he keeps singing, and the guy gets up and he gets in his face. He gets scared, the singer, and he goes, "Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare." Like this. And the drunken guy, he's just like, "Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, look, you're not even singing more. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You guys better get off the next stop, someone's gonna get hurt." And he sits back down. The whole carriage is watching, you know, what's going on here, you know. So he just he's there, you know, and for some reason we just start playing louder. The good drummer, he starts playing louder, you know, I play cartels louder, these cymbals, you know, and he starts picking them up. You're dead. You're dead. And then we have one guy with us. He rides a bicycle, and he distributes the books on a bicycle. And he has I don't know if you remember the World Cup in South Africa. They had Vuvuzela, womp womp, womp womp, like this. Yeah, so he had one of them, womp womp, like you're dead. So everyone's watching this guy, just about to kill us. He sits down. He's got a hat on. He puts it down, and he starts shaking like this, and then turning red. And the guy across from him is like African American, sort of like pretty cool. And he's watching it, and he sees from under the hat this small smile come, and he just freaks out. He's like running up and down the carriage. He goes, "They're changing him! They're changing him! I can't believe it! They're changing him like this." And we didn't see it. And then he puts his head up, and we see this giant smile. And we have like cards which has the Maha Mantra on it. So we give him one, and because he's been swearing us in the tune, he knows the tune, but we give him the words. And then he goes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The whole carriage just explodes, woo, yeah, woo, yeah, He takes over, he starts leading the chanting, and everyone's like over the moon. And this guy's still running up and down. You guys did it, you're amazing, wow! And this happened in like 15 minutes. He was like a pure demon ready to kill us, shoot us down, didn't want to have anything to do with us. And then, he becomes pure devotee, has love for God and everyone. And that's what we saw, the power of this chanting there. It was, the proof is in eating the pudding. I heard that. So we don't have a belief system here. This is not a belief system. The faith that you develop by practicing Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is by experience. You apply the techniques presented in Bhagavad Gita, or some devotees will tell you, try chanting, try prasadam. That's a good one. Prasadam is food offered to Krishna with love and devotion, and then you take the remnants. It's the most amazing food ever. And you can give up smoking, no problem. You have a craving for smoking or drinking, just have some gulab jamun or some cake that's been offered to Krishna, or some paneer sabji, just have it nearby, like an emergency case. You have some craving and it goes away. Because the thing of Bhakti Yoga is not a process of self-denial, like the Jnana Yoga or the yogi in the Himalayas. He is denying everything that's around him. We are accepting everything in connection to the source of everything, and it's as a property of Krishna, and then we engage it in that service to the Supreme, and it becomes spiritual. It becomes something for the soul, not for the body. Because anything for the body, you lose it. You come naked, and you go naked. But anything you do for Krishna, you keep forever. It's explained in Bhagavad Gita. You die being practicing Krishna consciousness, but you don't attain the topmost thing, then you take birth in a family of devotees. And you just start off from where you left off. Say you did 10%, then you start off at 11%. But any exam in this world, any test you do, if you don't get 100%, then you start from zero again. This is the magic of Krishna consciousness. So, for those who are here for the first time, we would just like to give you a taste of the chanting, of people who are practicing it, of the beautiful food. And if you want to taste more of it, we have these books, and there's always devotees ready to explain things. to you how to dive deeper into this ever-increasing ocean of bliss. Because that's where the soul belongs. In the spiritual world, where every step's a dance, every word's a song, every meal's a feast, and every day's a festival. In the material world, every day's a funeral. So I'll stop here with the funeral. And if you have any questions, how much time we have?
10-15.
Okay, so we have 10-15 minutes, so lots of time. I'll give you time to think. And,
When I practice a bit of meditation, I find it's good for my right knee, because my right knee is damaged before I walk. And if I don't meditate, the pain comes back. But if I meditate, the pain goes away. So I'm avoiding a surgery, really. So I want to chant, but I have to meditate in order to keep my knee.
yeah, you can try chanting as well.
Really?
Yeah. Just add it on. So you do your meditation, and then you can add some, like maybe 10 minutes of chanting when just next to
I
you.
only do 4 minutes of meditation.
Yeah, yeah. So you can do another 4
4 in the evening.
of chanting. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
add it on.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if it feels like it's, you know, you're getting something so much from it, then you can increase like that. Those who are taking this process seriously, they make a vow to chant at least 2 hours of meditation on beads. So I have these beads here.
Yeah, it takes about 20 minutes around.
One round's about 7 to
20.
okay. Maybe you go 2 ways. So yeah, we have these meditation beads, and yeah, we make vows to chant 16 rounds. So there's 108 beads on one, and we go around. We chant one mantra on each bead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then you go to the next bead like that. So you go all the way to the big bead, and then you go back the other way. Like that. So one way is 1 round. So we do 16 times. And yeah, that's a great thing. We usually do it in the morning if you can. And set your mind straight for the day. You become very focused, even in your work life.
Sometimes if I wake up at night, I say the mantra a few times and I have a fantastic dream.
Yeah, yeah.
It's happened a couple of times.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, this mantra can do so much for us. It's amazing. It's actually the Supreme Soul present there with us. It's described that when you chant the Maha Mantra, the spiritual energy and Krishna are dancing on your tongue. Yeah. Any other insights, comments, questions? Yes.
Is jnana a prerequisite for bhakti? Without jnana, then bhakti
Yeah.
lost.
So actually, everything is dependent on bhakti. Jnana and vairagya, or knowledge and renunciation, comes from practicing bhakti. Yeah. It's described in the Sishastakam that Vidya Vajrajivana, that this chanting or Sankirtan movement, Sri Krishna Sankirtan, is the life and soul of transcendental knowledge. So that's there. Like I explained about knowing the difference between the body and the soul, that's obviously jnana, or knowledge. But one needs to have vijnana, which is realization. It's not like you just have textbook knowledge and you're a parrot, but actually one can experience the knowledge. So that's what bhakti does. So that's why we have so many books. It looks like we're studying so much. But actually it's giving us, like video games, and you have cheats, right? So this material world we're in is like a video game, And you know, all these books that we've been given by Srila Prabhupada gives us cheats, how to get through it and realize, yes, we actually got, you know, we've hacked it. And we don't get affected by material energy. We can transcend. So, in one sense, jnana is there, but the purpose of bhakti is to apply. So then you get realizational experience, and then your faith deepens. And then it becomes more, not just about knowledge and giving up the world, but developing our love for Krishna. Pure love, that's our goal.
So other way around is bhakti will lead to more.
Yeah, it's like a byproduct, side effect. Yeah, like just like if you had €1,000, automatically you have €500, you have €700, you have €50, you have €10. So like I said, bhakti, it's included with, jnana is included in bhakti. Yeah. Thank you. Yes?
If God is all powerful, why do you jar him? By giving him a human body, doesn't that reduces his power? Is like becomes Krishna, why does he have a body? Shouldn't he be like a soul or something?
Okay. Yeah, so that's the argument why you're limiting him to an image.
Can I? Jesus was a messenger of God. Krishna is similar. Krishna is similar. He is in human form.
Sorry, that's okay. Yeah, it's a very important question. To say that God cannot take a form is limiting him. The form of Krishna is a transcendental form. It may appear human, but when we see the transcendental activities that he performed 5,000 years ago, then, for example, we have the lifting of Govardhan Hill. He lifted up with his pinky finger for 7 days, 7 nights, a big hill. Okay, that's pretty far out. He had 16,108 queens, and he had a palace for each and every one of them, and was able to support every one of them, having 10 children with each, having a big family of 2 million people. So that's not reachable. Our main idea of realizing God is through hearing his activities. Why we have the deity of the form is that because our senses are blunt, they're material. We cannot see spirits. We may tell the scientists, yes, the soul's seated within the heart, and they've cut up many heart surgeries and heart transplants, but they don't see a soul. Because it's not able to be perceived materially within material senses. So you're right with that. The way of having an image, picture, or a statue, form made out of stone or paint or oil, is that so then it's done, it's shaped, it's done in a way according to scripture that you make this form. And then you can start serving and developing your relationship. And so yeah, they do like a ceremony and invokes God's presence. And then we can offer service prayers, we can talk to them, we can cook for them, we can dress them. And then people who do worship a picture or a deity, you see they become saintly. Also, the people who perform such activities of worshipping a form like this, they become saintly. So these things are there. The main answer is that it's according to scripture they make a form. It's not out of imagination. So the scripture describes what God looks like. And especially when it comes to developing a loving relationship, it's quite an important thing. Just like I ask you, I ask a man, so you love your wife? Yes, I love my wife very much. Okay, so what she look like? She's, she's beautiful. What she look like? Just beautiful, you know. Does she do anything? No activities. Okay. So the thing is that we meet people who say they love God and they say God is great, but how is He great? What makes Him great? So, for example, an expansion of Krishna is that He's lying on a causal ocean, and He's in a transcendental slumber or yoga nidra. From His breathing, universes emanate from His pores, millions. And on His breathing in, they're destroyed. This particular universe lasts for 311 trillion years, 40 billion. Yes, 311 trillion, 40 billion years. And that's one breath of this expansion of Krishna. That's great, isn't it? At the same time, Krishna is not just the greatest of the greatest, but the smallest of the smallest. He's in the heart of every living entity. The soul is even smaller than an atom. It's described that if you get a tip of your hair, and at the point, you divide that point into 100 parts, you get one part divided another 100, that is the size of the soul, which can't be measured by any microscope. So powerful, the soul. You know, it can build buildings and cities and, you know, do so many things, just that small spot. Imagine the Supreme Spirit. And that Supreme Spirit and it's in the heart of that small little spirit soul inside this one. You can go ahead and small. So this small, you know, scripture describes how to know and love God. That's the purpose of religion, actually. Not to say what you can and can't do, which one is better. My God will beat your God up, and you know, I'm from this, you know, it's got nothing to do with that. Actually, we're all children of God, and when we connect to and develop love for God, which everyone comes from, then automatically you love anything that comes from God. So that means everyone else. You cannot have hate for them. You love the hand, you automatically love the finger. Like that. It's okay, yeah. Cool. Had to hit all the bases. Any other questions? Do we have any more? More? Yeah? Okay.
And if you cannot envisage God, what do you see?
Yeah, so this is a good question.
Because I can't think of a blue boy or the black, that one there, or the cosmic one, which is you're not supposed to because it's too head wrecking.
Yeah.
You know, just blow your head off.
Yeah.
So I think of Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of him and I go, have a word with him. Because I can't see God.
Yes.
I don't think we're supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't think we're supposed to envisage it. So if you're thinking of Krishna, who do you see? Do you see a blue boy? Do you see a black doll? Do you see... What do you see? And it's personal.
On personal level?
Do you see a blue avatar?
I see a personality. You could imagine the most beautiful person, but still they don't come close to Krishna. This personality has long curly black hair, but with unlimited curls, with like a bluish tint. And he has lotus eyes, like lotus petals, but they stretch nearly to his ears. And his skin color, they describe it bluish black, like a monsoon cloud, but it's like a spiritual color. It's not a color of this world. They describe that this monsoon cloud in India, they have like rain clouds, but the sun's really strong behind it. So as the sun comes through the rain cloud, then there's like this blue shimmer. Yeah. So that's Krishna's skin color.
That's that blue there, the summer blue I see Krishna. That's
Yeah. I can't. You can remember. Yeah, so that's that. When I think of Krishna, that's what I think. He has this Vaijanti garland flower. It's like a beautiful forest flower garland. Nothing like this, but it's like
But when I see
amazing.
Prabhupada, I can see Krishna, I can feel Krishna.
Yeah, this is
When I
our
look- when I look
connection.
at
I was
Prabhupada.
gonna come to that point.
That's good.
That
That's
the thing is, there's this verse in the Gita. Tat vidi pranapatena panapasena sevya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanastat vidarshana. Krishna says that just try to approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. That self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth, he has seen Krishna. Be pure devotee, that spiritual master can give you the same experience of meeting Krishna face to face. But like you said, that's our connection, and through Prabhupada we can definitely see Krishna face to face.
So it's okay to
But
be a
if-
middleman.
And we must have a middleman, and like you can't even see the president of America unless you know someone, right, who's like really close to them. Everyone says, love me, love my dog, right? So if you see the president walking down the street, and then you start petting his dog and loving his dog, and the dog loves you back, then the president's like your best friend. So the spiritual master, the pure devotee, is like the pure, most confidential servant of God. And then when you show love and respect for that representative, then Krishna, we have blunt sense living through the tongue, through the mouth, by taking prasadam and chanting. Then Krishna reveals to us. That's another point of his unlimited nature, that he can become perceivable to the limited soul. It's another factor of being unlimited.
What, in the material or actually as
Yeah. Like, you can come and you can experience him here and now. That Maha Mantra, that's one form of Krishna. It's not different. Sound. In the 10th canto of 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in the 7th chapter, Krishna says, I'm the tasting water. So all of us drink water, right? Yeah? So that taste, you can perceive Krishna. Rasaham apsakuntiya. Prabhasmi sashi suryo. I am the light of the sun and the moon. We all perceive this. Even here now, the light of the sun is coming in. And we love the moonlight. It's so cooling, it's so nice. When you say full moon, you're perceiving Krishna. Prabhasmi sashi suryo. Pranavasava Vedishu. I am the Om in the Vedic mantras. So we all go to temple and we do yagyas and it's like Om, so many Om mantras. Om Shivaya Namah, like this. That Om is Krishna in those Vedic hymns. Sabdake, he is the sound in the ether. We like music, everyone loves music. Who's got like a Spotify playlist and all this stuff? We love to hear music. That whole thing of music and sound, that's Krishna. And I read something really nice. If you see something beautiful in this world, like a flower or like a sunset, know that as the smile of Krishna. And if you hear like beautiful birds like singing songs, that's Krishna's whispering. So it's pretty cool. That's it. Okay, I can do one more question. Someone has. Otherwise, I can give a plug. So, actually, whatever I said, I don't know anything. I never grew up in this tradition or whatever. For the last 10 years, I've been practicing what's in Bhagavad Gita, and whatever I've said, I'm just saying what came from the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not some scholar in Sanskrit, not a philosopher. I just like to party. So Krishna is known as Supreme Enjoyer, so there's no better person to party with. So Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is here. It's available for all of us. So if you haven't got a copy, we have copies available here, and you can just give a donation and get your own copy and experience the party life. Hare Krishna, thank you so much.